Today, December the 23rd, I was planning a reading day, a day devoted to reading so I could catch up with my Goodreads targets. If you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you know I set my Goodreads target at 100. I've read 95 books so far this year, but the year is running out, so I've got 5 books left to read by the 31st. My name is Jim, this is my channel, Books, Reading and Stuff. It's now 2:30. I had intended to start in the morning, but I found I had a lesson to deliver in the morning, so the morning was ruled out. I also went for a walk at first thing in the morning, which I was planning to do anyway, and then start my reading day. For my reading day, I have 3 books to read. I'm 2 books behind target on my Goodreads. The most daunting book is Wuthering Heights. This will be a reread, and I'm on page 86 at the moment as we start, and there are 397 pages. 3 years ago, I gave myself a reading challenge to read Jane Eyre in one day. This is bigger, but twice as big as Wuthering Heights. I failed with that. I read 600 of the 800 pages. I did read it a couple of days after that, but the most daunting book will be Wuthering Heights because the Brontes are quite accessible for a modern audience, but it's still Victorian literature, and Victorian literature goes more slowly. It's not as difficult as something like Martin Chuzzlewit by Charles Dickens, with a lot of needless descriptive language and lots of side plots and subplots. This is more straightforward. This was the first Bronte novel I ever read, and I read it about 30 years ago, and December is a month for rereading. I've already reread Metamorphoses by Franz Kafka, and I've reread The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. I really love Metamorphoses. The Old Man and the Sea, I didn't like the first time I read it. The second time, it's okay, but the middle part is for me, it was very boring because it's about fishing. Aside from Wuthering Heights, I'm reading 2 crime novels, which isn't really a good idea. I like to read 3 or 4 books at the same time, but I like them to be different genres so I don't confuse the stories in my head. The 2 crime stories are a bit different. One is set in America, one is set in England. The first one, the one in America, is with a private investigator who's ex-police, and the one in Britain is a police procedural, so there's some difference. The victims in both crime novels are burnt alive, so there's a coincidence there. So I could confuse the 2 crime novels. I'm already confusing them a little bit. Also, the chief investigator in one is called Rachel, and in the other is called Riley. Both females beginning with R, both in their 30s. So there's some similarities between the 2 novels. The first crime novel I'm reading is this one, Next Victim, Helen H. Durrant, is set in Manchester. I'm reading it on my Kindle app on the phone. It's the book I'm closest to finishing. I was reading some of it this morning on the metro, going to my lesson and coming back from my lesson, and I'm now at page 184 of 233. So this, if I just read this, it says I have 45 minutes left to read, so that will be quick. The second novel, Fuel to the Flame by Lauren Street, I'm reading on the NetGalley app. This is not strictly an arc because the book is already out. It was published in November. It's set somewhere in America, and there's a tourist from Nebraska who's been set on fire, which is what they're investigating at the moment. Both Lauren Street and Helen H. Durrant are new authors to me. Police procedurals are my comfort genre. If I have a reading slump, I'll pick up a police procedural and it should get me back in the reading mood. I think this is because they have a strong plot, and also when I was growing up, my parents liked watching police procedurals like Taggart on the TV. Okay, it's now 2:45, which is a lot later than I was hoping to begin. I'll start with Wuthering Heights. I googled how long it takes to read Wuthering Heights, and I got the answer of 5 hours and 12 minutes for the average reader. That's something like 250 words per minute. So I should have time today because I've already read the first 86 pages. I'll check in every hour to let you know how I'm doing. It's 4 o'clock. I've finished Next Victim by Helen Durrant. I was distracted from Wuthering Heights. Next Victim was a standard police procedural. It was a little implausible in the relationship between the DCI, Rachel King, and Jed McAteer, who's one of the key villains in the Manchester area, but they had a relationship that she was trying to keep quiet. It was okay. It was a 3-star read for me. It sounds a bit wuthering now outside as I go back to Wuthering Heights. I'm on page 89 of Wuthering Heights. Let's see. It's now 5 o'clock. I'm up to page 102 of Wuthering Heights. Catherine has just been explaining to Nellie why she's going to marry Edgar Linton, because he's young, cheerful and rich, rather than Heathcliff, who she really loves and who she feels is a part of her. 6 o'clock, and I'm up to page 122 of Wuthering Heights. Heathcliff has returned after 3 years away mysteriously. 7 o'clock, and I'm up to page 140 in Wuthering Heights. It's 8 p.m. I've switched to Fuel to the Flame, and I've reached page 100 in that. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, and now I'm up to page 126 of Fuel to the Flame. It's 10 o'clock, and I haven't got much further. I'm not going to finish 3 books today. I'll carry on with Wuthering Heights for another hour, see how far I get. It's now Sunday morning. My reading day didn't quite go as I'd hoped. I finished 1 book, The Next Victim, but I didn't get so far with Wuthering Heights as I'd like to. I'm now at page 175, which is getting close to halfway in my edition. And with Fuel to the Flame, I got to page 126. I only read 43 pages yesterday. So I still have 4 books to finish before the end of the year if I want to hit my Goodreads target of 100 books. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. This will help me with the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.